Welcome back to Locker Room right here at Thornberry Creek Golf Course. He's George Kuntz, and the guy next to him, that is the pride of Sheboygan, Bill Schroeder, everybody.
Good to see you.
Good to see you guys.
What's up, big fella?
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, happy holidays. Things going well?
Things are going well. Can't complain. Can't complain. Nobody listens anyway, so things are good.
Right, exactly.
I used to love playing with this guy. Also, too, we have a mutual friend,
Okay.
and we could talk about him real quick. I know last Thursday was Reggie White's 15th, I don't want to say his anniversary, but it was his birthday, and he's been past 15 years now. He would have been 58 years old. Can you talk to us about your first introduction to Reggie White?
It's
in the locker room.
I'll try and make it quick because I know it's a
got plenty
long
of time,
show.
man.
But he was the first Packer that I really met and got introduced to. And, you know, this will be different for you, George, because, you know, you probably didn't grow up a Packer fan like I did.
Right.
But I get drafted by the Packers. I'm still in college. And I have to go fly out to Phoenix for our minicamp. And you go through meetings and everything the night before, and I'm just swimming, makes no difference, whatever, trying to learn the plays. Next day we go into the locker room, and the first person I see walking in the locker room, Reggie. And I walk up to him, and I look at him, and he goes, "Hey, Bill Schroeder, nice to meet you. Welcome to the team. Reggie White, nice to meet you." And I was just floored. Like, first of all, everybody in the world knows who this guy is. Why are you introducing yourself to me? He welcomes me to the team, and then it made me realize this is one humble dude that really cares about everybody in the team. And how the heck does he know who I am?
Right.
Yeah, I'm a 6th-round pick, but I'm coming from La Crosse, you know, University of Wisconsin La Crosse. Why would he know who I am? And he cared.
Yeah.
And that led me to see how this team was back in 1994, and I completely believe, and I'll guarantee George will back me up on this, that he was the reason why we won the Super Bowl, because he took that team and put them on his shoulders and said, hey, this is what leadership's all about.
Yep.
It wasn't, we're only defensive players, we're only offensive players. We were a team.
And I used to have a lot of conversation with Reggie White. He thought the world of you and your family.
Yeah, he was a great man, great man.
I have my own little Reggie story. All-state linebacker that I played with in high school was a youth minister in Charlotte. And in '98, I believe, when you guys played down there, that was when you could bring a buddy on the field with you just because they didn't care, and you could, you know, carry your tapes for you and your batteries. Took time after the game. Burke, who's this guy that you want me to meet? Kenny Surratt was his name. And Kenny forever, he was like, oh my gosh, I met Reggie White. And that was the kind of guy he was. Didn't matter if, it was kind of like George, you guys were in the same, if you were a camera guy in that locker room or you were the biggest, most important reporter, you made everybody feel the same, right, which was always cool.
And it's unbelievable because the day after Christmas, I know we have the Christmas holiday coming up on us. The day after Christmas, he passed away, and that would be 15 years ago. He would have been 58 years old last Thursday. So I just wanted to talk to you because
awesome
he meant so much to me personally and to you and to
Without
you,
a
Bert,
doubt.
and for our community and the Packer Nation.
Well, you know, Bill and I have a common bond too, right? We played each other in college. We held Bill Schroeder to one catch for 18 yards when he was at La Crosse and I was at Oshkosh.
That's not true, is it, Bill?
I don't think
Actually,
so.
actually, it is true. Hey, Bill, it is true. It is true. I looked it up, but you guys still destroyed us like 49-7.
Oh, I think that's only when I did kick and punt returns. I
Right.
don't think I was a receiver that game.
Maybe it was one return for 18 yards. Yeah, you did all right there. Yeah, there was some. Hey, lacrosse was no joke. I got to ask you something about that too. Do you regret not going the Olympian route because you were a guy who, decathlete-wise, I mean, you were this close. And I know pro football is awesome, but do you ever say woulda, coulda, shoulda?
Hold up your left hand to the camera. This way.
Oh, that way.
I had the opportunity to move on and to try for my Olympic dream. That's what kept me.
That ring.
It really was.
Really?
I got drafted by the Packers. I figured I'll play a couple years, get some money, sponsor myself to do my track stuff.
Okay.
And after we won the Super Bowl, I went to a certain place to had a tryout. I don't want to mention any names, but we're playing against them tonight. And they wanted to sign me to a contract. Right then and there. So my agent said, all right, well, let me see if the Packers will counteroffer or anything else. The Packers said, either he signs with us or he doesn't get a ring. And I'm like, It literally took me 3 seconds to say, all right, I'm staying in Green Bay.
Right.
And I'm glad they did. I never wanted to leave Green Bay.
Right.
Even when I went to the other place on the other side of the pond where I played for 2 years, I never wanted to leave.
Yeah.
But as George will tell you, I mean, it's a business.
Yes.
Unfortunately, it's a business. You have to go where the money is. You can't stay in the same place unless you're Donald Driver and
Right.
you're God to this community.
Yep.
But I do regret it, but it was the choice I made. God put me in that position to follow that part of my life, and I'm glad I did.
Very cool. All right, let's talk about the current team. You played with some great wide receivers in this game. Antonio Freeman, Robert Brooks, Sterling even for
Sterling, yep.
Sterling at the last. Andre Rison. Davante Adams is the man. Where do you see his skill set and that current group of young guys behind him? Because Matt LaFleur said this week he's going to try and get Jake Kummerow and Alan Lazard more reps.
These young guys, they get to learn from somebody like him. Donald Driver, I remember when he came in as a rookie, he got to learn from the older guys, like me and Freeman that were there, and then he got to pass it on to the next guys. And it just keeps on going that way. Davante right now, I think could be better than Donald, put up more stats than Donald because he is a bigger receiver, and that's what you need to be nowadays. But he's also fast. He's got great
Right.
hands. He runs really good routes. So if he can stay healthy, than what he was, and not getting hurt at all, if he can stay healthy for these next few years, I think he's going to have a real solid career and stay here his career.
Yeah, it's an interesting wide receiver group, that's for sure, because they have so many different skill sets.
Yeah.
I mean, Marquez can fly, stretch the field. Geronimo's big, tall, and lean, can do a little bit of everything. He can block. And then Kummerow just seems to make plays.
All these guys, that's one thing. When I had my radio show last year, I had almost every receiver on the show. And they're all huge.
Yes.
They're all tall. Now, back when I was playing, a guy like me, 6'3", that's rare.
Yeah.
These guys are 6'4", 6'5", and that's kind of like normal nowadays. Yeah. But one of the things that I really like, I've been taught that my whole life. That's what I teach when I'm at Schwaben High School. You got to be able to block. You really do. That opens up your running game even better. These guys all block, and it's part of the repertoire that you have to be a blocking receiver to play with the Green Bay Packers.
Yep, and you know what? You also have a role with the team on Sundays these days. Tell everybody what you're doing in case they didn't know. I mean, you've got a variety of things going on, but...
I am the uniform inspector for the NFL, and I work on the Packers sideline. So I don't hand out any fines. I basically warn the players about the uniform infractions that they have to fix them before the game and everything else.
Give us an example. What would be an infraction?
If they're wearing the wrong elbow pads, if they're not, perfect one. When Odell Beckham went through it with a visor. You can't wear a colored visor. And Odell got pulled out of the game because he was wearing the iridium one. One thing I can say is the Packers are one of the best around because they have an equipment manager that pretty much gives them everything that they need. They don't allow them to wear something that's wrong. But some of the things that are silly is wearing the wrong shoes or their socks are pulled down or something. You see it all over in college, but in the pros, the NFL shield is protected. There's a reason why it looks the way it does.
Yeah.
They want their players to do the same thing. Well, then there's certain players that say, I don't care, go ahead and fine me. Well, the money goes to charity, which is what they're going to do with it anyway, so why not have a look every single week? Maybe some kids will look at me on a high school team or a college team and say, hey, I want to be just like him, pull one sock down, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Nope.
I just do my job.
All right. You mentioned high school. George, I still go out on Friday nights with a camera. I've been doing it for 25 years now. This season, I don't know why I stuck around. I had my highlights. I Schwaben on DePere. His son, by the way, not so coincidentally, a wide receiver wearing number 84. Okay. One of the greatest plays I have ever seen. It was a wide receiver to wide receiver crossing hook and ladder to end the half. Was that your play call? Did you have a little say in that?
Nope. The head coach put that one in the beginning. Every team has that.
Right.
We've run it in years past.
Usually it's to a running back.
Not always. It's usually always been to our receivers, but this was literally the last-second call, last-ditch effort, and DePere was a game we were supposed to win.
Yeah.
And it was really close. And for whatever reason, we called it. it's like, okay, they know it's coming. They
Right.
got to know it's coming. And
You couldn't get it there on a Hail Mary.
no way.
It was too far.
No way. And we have practiced that every single week, and it just worked out perfect. And when the ball was thrown to our first receiver, who was named Luke Jacobs, I'm like, oh, he's going to get tackled. And then he pitches the ball around to my son, who's coming the other way.
Yeah.
Well, there's a guy right next to him,
Yeah.
and my son stiff arms him right before he gets in and scores a touchdown. There was no time left on the clock.
Yeah, one of the coolest things ever.
And Burke literally tells me, I see him at the Packer game the next day or 2 days later and says, hey, I got that on film. I'm like, dude, you got to send that to me. That was awesome.
Yeah, definitely a player of the year on our high school sports extra show. All right, let's talk about your track school, if you want to call it, the training that you
Track
do.
Academy?
I mean, where can people go to check it out?
We're over at Synergy Sports, which is just outside of Schwabenon. And I have a 4-month track academy class that you, per se. I have 4 different classes that go twice a week. And I have kids from all the way from Wausau down to Sheboygan. In the past, I've had them up in Marinette. And it's an hour-and-a-half class twice a week.
Very cool. If you want to be a better athlete, go to Synergy Sports and their website. Bill can train you. All right, rapid fire, real quick. Know your green and gold. Worst job you've ever had?
Oh, ever?
Ever.
Oh, God.
You're not a millennial, Bill. You're old like us. You have worked before, right?
Yeah, I'm not. All my jobs I enjoyed.
Oh, all right. That's fair. Would you rather be a music star or movie star?
Movie.
Go back in time or see into the future?
Oh, back in time.
Las Vegas or the beach?
Beach.
Dogs or cats?
Both.
Both. All right. Golf or fishing?
Fishing.
Bill, Billy, or William?
Bill.
Bill
You know
only.
better.
All right. I know. All right. We'll be back with Billy Schroeder and George Coots after the break for questions in the crowd in your 901 Stop Fan Zone.